Hello shooters, TI here. Thanks for watching. Today's episode of Tie Iron Goes to School is Stippling, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay shooters, before we talk about stippling, let's talk about checkering. Back in the day when the only serious fighting handgun was the 1911. Yeah, there was others, but most of the pros back in the day chose the 1911. In order to get the gun more grippy was to checker the front strap and to checker the mainspring housing. They only checkered what was absolutely necessary. They didn't do any additional checkering because it was so expensive. And they went to the guys that used those guns on a daily basis to find out where they want the checkering. And you'll notice in this picture that I'm going to show you that there's areas where they didn't checker on purpose. Okay, here's a Wilson Vickers Combat 1911. You can see that in the grip safety area here, it's very smooth, no checkering whatsoever. And I've never seen a 1911 with checkering on the grip safety here. This is nice and smooth. In fact, gunsmiths, they make this transition when the grip safety is depressed, that it is absolutely smooth across this transition. So there's no hang up whatsoever. Now let's look at the this is where the middle finger goes. Notice how it's nice and smooth and slick in this area. Then the checkering starts for the rest of the fingers. And let's go back here. So there is checkering on the main strap, on the bottom part, but where the web of the hand goes, it's absolutely smooth. Then there is checking down here where the rest of the fingers go, but right here where the middle finger goes, it's nice and smooth. So fast forward to the plastic guns. Even though they have some kind of, shaped little texture to them, some of them can still be kind of slippery. And so there's guys that want to make them so they're not quite so slippery. But some guys go way overboard, and even some of the artists, some of the true works of art regarding the shaping and stippling, checkering of the plastic handguns, they go farther in they go too far. They make it so it's not as usable as just a little bit of stippling. This is what I mean by that. Just like the 1911, how the back strap, the thumb safety area was slick. That's for a reason. When we come down on a handgun, no matter whether it's on our side, whether it's appendix, whether it's under our arm, on our ankle, doesn't matter, because the interface of the hand to the handgun is the exact same. See this kind of twisting motion we got going on here? Watch this. See that? That's what happens when our hand comes on to grab the handgun during a high-speed draw. There has to be that little bit of slipperiness there so we get our hand exactly where we want it. We also want it to be a little bit slippery right underneath the trigger guard here. That area right there, so that when the first part is our hand coming around and finding the right spot, the second part is our finger sliding in there to get the right spot. Once the web of our hand and this part of our finger here get the right spot on the handgun, then the rest of our fingers actually complete the grip. The rest of our fingers get the grip going on the front here and interface with the whole hand on the back here, the heel of the hand. Now I've got a good firing grip and I'm ready to go. But you can see that if I had checkering up in this area, or stippling, 1911s aren't checkered on the grip safety. It's left slick, and on the Glock here, it's left slick. Yeah, I slickened this up some myself. It wasn't quite slick enough, and I deepened that. That just helps depending upon your fingers or whatever. But no matter what fingers you got, you want to be able to slide into the gun and then grip it down. Not all manufacturers even understand that, so there's some texturing that goes on that impedes the draw, makes it so the draw is not quite so smooth, not quite so nice. M&P is one of the ones that do some of the texturing a little bit wrong. This texturing here is fine, because they leave the slick part here. So I can come into the gun there. Where it's not so fine is underneath the trigger guard. They got checkering all the way to here. Not checkering, but texturing or whatever. So what I've done, and I haven't done it to my shield yet, but what I've done on my full-size M&P is I've removed that texturing and made it slick, so that now when I come into the gun, it's slick up here. I've stippled this right here. It's slick up here at the top, and it's slick for my finger to get into. And then once I'm there, my fingers can complete the grip, and this stippling that I've done here and the stippling that I've done here now helps me lock into the gun. But it doesn't impede the draw. So it all depends upon what you want your texturing for. If it's purely for looks, doesn't really matter. If it's just a range toy, doesn't really matter. You know, get a hold of an artist and have him turn this thing into something that is truly unique in yours. If you have stippling done for practical reasons to help you get a good purchase on the handgun, whoever you have do it, make sure they're going to leave this part slick up here, and they're going to leave this part underneath the trigger guard nice and slick, or if it's got texturing that they'll remove it, and then stipple the part that actually really helps you interface with the gun. Right here, now when I put my heel against here, my heel is contacting that stippling part there, and now I've got a solid lock on the gun, and the stippling helps my grip, doesn't impede it. Of course, these are all my opinions, but I've tested students' guns that have stippling all the way to the top, and when my hand tries to slide around for a high-speed draw, it doesn't slide, because this stuff grabs onto my hand. Then I found myself trying to walk my hand around, and that's not a good thing. Keep the gun slick where it needs to be slick, so your hand can slide in there where it needs to slide, and then it'll grip on, and you've got a good grip, and you're good to go. Thank you for watching. I appreciate all the shares, likes, and subscribes. Any comments or questions, post them below, and as always, ensure that your training and your practice is preparing you for the real world, your real world, and not for the fantasy land of the shooting range. Have a good day.